Okay, hi and welcome to a very special TFF panel show. We've done all the sound checks, so I'm really hoping that this comes out. We have with us today Ali, the Reading boss. We have Paul, the boss of Southampton, and we have Ben, the boss of Arsenal. Good evening, lads.
Good evening.
Right, I don't want to waste time. Without further ado, I want to go straight into it because there's a lot to talk about. Special mentions straight away. I just want to give a special mention to a few lads. Ali, you're one of them because you had a big win in the week over Wimbledon. That must have felt good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sort of knew.
Sorry, Ali. Go on.
Sorry.
Go on, Ali.
Yeah, I was just about to say because like a lot of other managers were like pushing me to change my tactics against Wimbledon because someone else, I think it was Nick Ford, he did well against Andrew in the cup using a different formation to beat Wimbledon's formation.
Oh, I see.
But I stuck with my formation, and I think because it worked before, I beat him twice this season. So yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Just stick with your own instincts, I reckon.
Yeah.
Special mention, the title race is hotting up in Division 1. Johnny doing a fantastic job at Liverpool. I really didn't expect him to have an impact straight away. I thought he would need a bit of time because he doesn't have much of a squad there. So I'm really impressed with that. Also, Mick Barnsley doing a great job. Want to give him a special mention. Andrew Lane, because Andrew actually started off struggling. He overachieved last year with a young team, but he's just around the playoffs again. Andrew Lane really doing it. Imagine Andrew Lane at a top club. Keith at Blackburn, only one defeat all season, looking good for promotion. Jay Jones coming in at Tottenham and stabilising things, and I think Jay's the right person to take Tottenham on. He deserves a big club after his work at Sunderland. And also Sheffield United and Northampton flying in Division 4. Anything you guys want to point out from those mentioned? Ali, anyone stands out?
For me, Keith really stands out as well. Like you mentioned him already.
Yeah.
And Mark Stewart at Gillingham, which I think you forgot to mention.
Yes.
He's doing an outstanding job at Gillingham.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, for me, Division 2 is the toughest division in TFF. And if you look at the points distribution as well, there's only like 54, 51, 50, 50. I mean,
top six, very close.
Yeah, I mean, anyone could beat first within a couple of games in there. So
yeah. Yeah, Paul, any names there that you think you would agree with, go along with?
I go along with ones we've said, but Mansfield going along quietly, Division 4, just, plodding along nicely, got a decent little squad there. I think Mansfield's doing a good job.
Now who's the manager of Mansfield?
I had it earlier, I've forgotten.
There's a lot of quiet managers in TFF.
I've forgotten.
Bradley J.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, so that's the Fleetwood manager's mate. What's his name? Darren
Dazza Russell or something.
That's it.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Rings a bell.
Ben, anyone caught your eye?
Yeah, probably Andrew Lane, and not because he's managing Birmingham by any funny chance. I think last season he overachieved. So unlucky last game of the season to fall out the playoffs. He overachieved last season. I've got the table up in front of me. He's seventh now. 3 off the playoffs. He's the only team in that top 7 unbeaten in the last 6.
Yeah.
If he has another good season with Birmingham, I think he's in contention for a good club when one comes up.
Yeah, and he started off quite slowly as well this year. But
he did start off slowly, yeah. So fair play to him. He's gone back up there where they were last season.
Just thinking,
I think Rolls turned it around as well at Wolves.
He has, yeah. And we had Rory on before, and he's a nice guy, so I'm pleased for him. But let's be having it right. Wolves are still a big club, and overall, in the general scheme of things, haven't achieved. He really needs to get them up this year. Special mention also to Dom, boss of Hull, and Fordy, boss of Sunderland, because they have advanced to the Shield final.
Yeah.
So one of them teams is going to be taking away a trophy. There's only 3 trophies you can win, so it's a great achievement in a game world like this.
Yeah.
Amazing achievement, yeah.
I wouldn't know where to call that one, but also both are wrestling with relegation. So I wonder if, I suppose if you get to a final, that's really got to be the priority. You've got to win it. But would relegation and a cup win still be a good season?
No.
Not for you, Paul.
I don't think it's successful, no. But
I think it depends on the circumstance. Like,
I think
he really took over Hull from the start of the season, didn't he?
Yeah.
So for him, it should be more about like staying up and winning the cup as well.
So I'm going to flip that, Ali, and I'm going to say that Fordy inherited a better situation than Dom. Dom inherited an absolute mess at Hull, and when you're a small club, it's quite brave to go down a sort of a youth route, which Dom did. So
yeah, that's also a way of looking at it as well.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. For me, if Dom gets relegated but wins a cup, and he's done it with a young team with a lot of potential, arguably Hull are in a much better position than when he inherited them last year.
Oh yeah. But what does a cup get you? 3 million or something, and then if you stay up, he's potentially looking at another 30 million investment or something. So
I thought
it's so hard to get out of that league, though.
Yeah, it is.
If you get relegated, it's going to be so hard to get back up. That's why you don't want to get relegated, in my opinion.
Yeah, just imagine.
Cup gets you more. Does a cup not get you 10 million or something?
No, the cup only gets you about. I just won it in TGL, another league, and it only got me 3 million or something like that.
Okay, and then of course you got all the gate receipts on the way to the final as well.
Yeah, so that stacks you up to about 7 million at most.
All right, and then you've got the following season. You've got the European revenue.
Yeah, I guess that's about.
Depends if you're a gold manager, though, doesn't it?
And then you've got the Charity Shield.
Yeah, that's actually true. So it probably adds up to about 10 million in total.
You could probably sign a decent player on the back of it.
Definitely, because TFF still has a lot of external. So.
And like real life, is football not about glory as well?
Yeah, of course it is.
Because TFF seems to mirror real life. Like we're obsessed with top four or staying up. But what about winning a cup? Is that?
Yeah, I agree. I think just to go back onto the point, I think a cup win for Hull and relegation for Hull would be better than a cup win for Sunderland and relegation for Sunderland. And I think that is only because where Dom has picked up Hull, he's had a mess. Whereas Fordy's picked up Sunderland in a good position. Jay Jones left them, obviously. So I think for one team winning the cup and getting relegated would not be as bad for the other team winning the cup and getting relegated. So I agree. I'm in agreement with you, Rob. To be fair,
it depends.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
I think it depends where they were positioned as well. By the time Nick Ford took over, I'm not sure because I didn't follow it too much.
They were I think they were around about 8.
Right. So he's kind of messed up there, isn't he? Like he's been there for quite a while.
Should he have stayed at Wigan?
I'd have stayed at Wigan.
He says himself he thinks maybe he should. He says that himself. So
if it's me, I wouldn't have stayed at Wigan. No.
You wouldn't, but
no.
The way Nick was going with Wigan, promotion and then doing very well again, wouldn't Nick have been better off staying and waiting for a better opportunity?
If you look at it, maybe yes. But then, how many clubs are going to be like becoming available in a club like in a game like TFF? Like,
well,
especially clubs.
Ali, that's a good point, and that's something I want to raise later. Okay, so now we're on to. That was good, lads. Now, what really want us to... something I've noticed is the league tables, so I'm looking at how teams are doing. And one thing that just hit me straight away was in Division 1, the league positions of Manchester United and Manchester City. I want to say straight away, this isn't anything personal to those managers, but Manchester United, I believe, are in 6th or 7th on 39 points. 7th, and Manchester City are 11th, is that right? On 12th on 35 points, is that right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
That stood out for me straight away. 12 games to go. Manchester United obviously came under a lot of stick last year, and this year was meant to be the year they advanced. They finished on a points tally of 64 last year. they would need to win 8, draw 1 of the remaining 10 games to equal last year's points tally, which was already underachieving. So, lads, what do we say? What are your opinions regarding this? Let's start with Ali.
I believe, like, Manchester United, for certain, they're quite underachieving by a mile. Like, if you look at the teams above them, like Watford and Everton, they should never be above Manchester United. Like, you can understand if Arsenal, Chelsea, and Liverpool are above them, but yeah, for them and for Craig, that was inevitable because of his transfers. So Manchester City, I don't think. I actually thought that they would be somewhere like 10th by season 2 or season 3 because the transfers he made were quite shambolic. To be honest, it's quite. I don't know. I don't want to say anything more bad about
Say
it.
what you want, Ali. Let's have it right. Manchester City are one of the, if not the best team when the game world starts with the talent they have. So automatically you're one of the favourites to do well. And he won the league. But he only won the league because Hammer basically messed around.
Exactly.
So is Craig's achievement at Man City becoming less and less relevant now?
I don't think it's ever going to become less relevant. I just think the issue is something else here. It's more about his transfers. I don't know what he's doing. What's the logic behind his transfers? He sold Gabriel Jesus in season 1 and I don't know, replaced him with Mario Götze or something. And then
Ali,
sold Mario Götze.
What's the latest transfer that he's conducted with West Ham?
To be honest, I've not been up to date with it. Was it the goalkeeper, Ter Stegen? Or was it Sadio Mane for Alvaro Morata?
No, I didn't know about that one. It was the West Ham one with the goalkeeper.
Yeah, to be honest, I do see that as a bit of a weird one.
It's a backwards move.
I just don't understand his logic.
It's very difficult to get a top-class goalkeeper. And when an opportunity presents itself, you've got to go for it. And Nick's done him up a kipper there.
It's not just this, to be honest. It's the fact that he's got so many 88s and 89 rated players.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Paul.
I disagree with Valley. I think it's totally irrelevant what he did last season because he didn't win title. He was given title. I just think I've got it here. 7 wins all season in league. 7 wins. You know, I mean, it's just poor. It's just poor. He should stay in game well, but he should manage at a lower level.
You think that the team's too big for him?
I think his transfer policy's just done him. I think Sane, Sterling, Jesus, you can't sell those players. You can't. Yeah, I think his transfer policy's let him down. I think it's been poor, and I think 12th place. It's not finished there, you know. I mean, there's no guarantees he's going to finish in top 10. So I think Manchester City's poor, and his achievement last season's irrelevant.
And where do you stand on Manchester United as well? What's going on there?
It's pretty much the same, isn't it, really? It's poor transfers, poor tactics.
I don't think...
Kev's had more time than most. You know, he underachieved last season, he's underachieved this season. Kev's, you know, I've got it written down here because I was looking at it earlier. You know, Kev's 5 points off of 5th place. And 5th place would be a failure, you know. Kev could finish 7th quite easily. I just think it's poor. I think both Manchester clubs should be managed next season by new managers who prove themselves within TFF. I think Kev and Craig should step down to a lower league and prove themselves again. But that's just my opinion. It's nothing personal.
Not at all. Kev was on last week, and Kev obviously is trying his best. This is obviously he's not going to want to hear all this, but he said, "Look, he's tried this, he's tried that. What more can he do?" I would argue that his signings have been better than Craig's, and I would argue that if any person was to be given the choice of managing either of those clubs, you'd take Man United out of Man City. in the current climate. Manchester United's in a much better situation. So the problem, I think, with Kev is just results-wise.
But he said it himself in that statement he's made. What more can I do? If you're managing a team and you feel what more can I do, maybe it's time for someone else to have a go.
Good point. But he also rounded off by saying, when I asked the question, would you step down? It was unequivocally, no, this is my team. And he has in the past said, I think he's even alluded to the fact that he wouldn't take another team. He would just quit the whole game world. But I think Kev's whole point is he's staying with Man United. Whatever happens, come what may. Nothing's going to... And Kev is very, very single-minded. Ben, what are your thoughts?
I've got to disagree with Valley for a start on the... starting with Man City. Craig's title last season now, that's gone. That's erased. If Craig was second or third this season, doesn't matter how many points off the title he was. If he was second or third right now, could be 10 points off the title, then you'd say Craig's done a good job. He's won the league last season. Man City are obviously up there again this season. He's 12th. He is, 27 points behind Arsenal in the league. So, his title last season, yeah, all right, fair enough. He was given it, he won it, whatever. It's erased. It doesn't matter now. And it's not even that. I mean, I'm looking at... I've got a big club in TFF. I looked at his squad, and I thought, out of his squad, who would I have at Arsenal? And I looked, he's got Aguero, he's got De Bruyne. The only person, he's got Kogi, he's got Fernandinho. He's got quite a lot of players that he had to start off with at Man City. So there's little improvement straight away. There's only one or two players he'd have at Arsenal from Man City, and I think that's got to be his biggest problem. Ali touched on the point about the 88s and the 89s he's got in his club. Yeah? He's got £74 million worth of players out on loan. So that's just money that could go into his first team. It's money that could boost his first team rating a bit. And I think Man City's problem is just, I'm going to be blunt, it's just poor management, in my opinion. Just poor management. I mean, his squad value is 487 million. 74 million of that's out on loan. Chelsea's is 477 million, worth less than his squad. Chelsea are miles ahead of him. So Craig, I think his title win last season's gone now. It's irrelevant. Man City are going to be heading into season 3, and they're going to be behind some teams that started way behind them when the game mode started.
Yeah, I don't want to, obviously, if they're watching this, to feel like it's a persecution, because I've been in a lot of game modes with Kevin. He's been very successful with different approaches he's done. I've seen him with high old rated players. I've seen Kev with a lot of youth, so Kev can do well. But the times I've seen Kev successful is with smaller clubs in different size leagues. He would probably argue and say I've won big leagues with big teams, but I can't comment on that. But
sorry to interrupt you. I mean, obviously you mentioned Kev. I ain't even mentioned Kev yet.
Sorry.
That's all right. No, I was just going to say, I mean, I've had a go at Craig, so I've got to have a go at Kevin. I mean, I've said what I said about Craig, but United, they're a different beast altogether, because Man City have got a title win. They've got something in the bag. Man United haven't even challenged for anything in 2 seasons. I think I mentioned it earlier today. They out the cup in round 3 this season, out the Shield in round 3 this season. Nowhere near the title this season. I can't talk about cups last season because I can't remember. We know where they finished in the league last season. I think Kev's only saving grace for me is there's about 5 or 6 people in his team I'd have at Arsenal, to be fair. I don't know what his problem is, but eventually he's going to have the problem where if United aren't competing, doesn't matter about winning. You can probably be forgiven for not winning silverware in the first 2 seasons, but competing is different. Kev is the Arsene Wenger of TFF.
Why is that, Ben? Why do you say that?
I know it's early doors, but he's just clinging on. They're not competing. They are like the Arsenal right now in real life. You mentioned TFF's a bit like real life. Man United aren't competing. I can't see him competing next season. I really can't.
I mean, I have to agree with that. I can't see him competing next season. I don't know.
Is that good? I mean, first of all, Craig and Kev are brilliant for game worlds. That's not in that's not in dispute. Kev in a game world is brilliant. Look at what Kev does. He does an awful lot. You know, he manages.
Look at the blog.
He does the blogs, the websites. He's active. He looks out for cheats. Yeah, Kev. If you're creating a game world, Kev's one of the first people you want in a game world. No doubt about it. That'll never change. And he's a great guy. And Craig as well. Craig's a good guy. I like Craig. Got a heart of gold. So this is not personal at all. But is it good for a game world to have two mega monster teams underperforming consistently?
Good for me.
It's good for you. Is it good for the game world?
No.
It's good for me. I'm a smaller club, and when them two are not up there, it gives me Watford, Crystal Palace, West Ham. It gives us a chance of getting in that top four.
Definitely.
So personally, it's great, but for TFF, it's poor.
Put it this way, Rob. Those managers we gave a special mention to earlier at the start of this show, yeah?
Yeah.
A lot of them could do a good job at those teams. And if I was one of those managers, and you know, Man United, Man City aren't coming available season 3, season 4, I'm still doing a good job at my team. I'm going to start scratching my head and saying, well, hang on a minute. You know, this game was built on managers moving up. Am I going to move up when these two won't step aside? I'd step aside if Arsenal would do.
That's a genuine concern. I don't know everything and everyone, but I've got an instinct. Your Mark Stewarts, your Andrew Lanes, these kind of guys.
I mean, even these two guys here on the panel.
Ali Hayder for sure. Paul, how long are these people going to want to stay if they can't progress? And they're good managers. And okay, because there is only so far you can go with Gillingham. There is only so far you can go with certain teams, in my opinion. However good you are. Okay, maybe by season 20 you could be in Division 1 competing for the title, but in the next 3 or 4 years, is TFF not a game world based? There wasn't a realistic element to it, was it not? What was the ethos about this game world? You tell me. What do you think?
I think for me, it was to manage a middle team, and you know, the ambition's got to be to get a top 4 team for a smaller club manager. So
to better yourself.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, me personally, no, I'm happy at Southampton, but say somebody in Division 1 or somebody who's fetched the team from Division 2 to Division 1, say, because I think Gillingham will come up, surely that guy's got to be in contention for the Manchester. Look, you want the Manchesters performing, and the Arsenal and the Chelsea and the Spurs, you want them up there competing every season, and the rest of the game world aspires to be the manager of one of those teams. I think that's the unique thing about TFF.
Yeah, I look at Liverpool, and in the first season they had Yaya, who was an idiot. Then they had Roy Keane, who I never trusted this guy anyway, but whoever he was. So they've had a turmoil, a lot of turmoil. Liverpool. They haven't had stability. They haven't had one person from the start. They've had people coming in. Yaya had a lot of young players. Roy Keane comes in, sells them all, buys a load of high-rated players, but no squad. So there was no vision at Liverpool. It was a mess. So Johnny comes in halfway through a season, I think, or just before halfway, inherits a big club, but no squad depth. They were all unfit. I quit SM. I look back at the league about 6 weeks later, and Liverpool are in a title race. How's that happened? How's Johnny managed to do that with Liverpool in 6, 7, 8 weeks, whatever he's had?
Can I tell you why?
Go.
Because you get Arsenal and Chelsea, they're both going for the title. The cups.
Right.
And Liverpool are out of the cups anyway. So when Arsenal and Chelsea have dropped quite a few points recently, so.
But Ali,
using
that logic, surely Manchester United and Manchester City should be higher up the table as well.
Oh, definitely they should. Yeah.
So Johnny's done it like that.
But Johnny did have a high-rated 11, didn't he? I'm not saying he's not doing a good job. I'm just saying like there's a reason for that as well. He
had a number of high-rated individuals that I think he had to sell 1 or 2 because he had literally no squad. I think he had like 11, 12, 13 players. That was it. And they were all knackered. They had no fitness. I honestly thought Johnny's going to need the rest of this season just to patch it all up, and then next season judge him. I did not expect to see Liverpool in a title race. Not this season.
To be honest, he's done a great job. I mean, especially with the squad so small, but they're out of the cups, so you've got to take that into account as well.
But I just think excuses are running out elsewhere, and
Well, definitely for Manchester United and Manchester City have no excuse whatsoever. But I can understand from like Arsenal and Chelsea's point of view, because they were going for the cups, and when you do that, you got to take out some of your best players out of the league game. To get that into the...
Okay, so we've analysed Manchester quite in depth tonight. I mean, because it was just those two big clubs really struggling. Another club struggling, which I noticed, is Derby in Division 2. Michael took over, got him into the playoffs last year, although Gareth Crisp left a good foundation. I'm surprised that Derby is struggling. I thought they'd be in the playoffs this year. Is anyone surprised by that?
I am. I was looking earlier. Fulham's a disgrace, by the way.
Fulham.
Just to put that out there. Fulham's a disgrace, just to put it out there. I mean, But yeah, Derby, I didn't expect that, I didn't, no. But I think he'll turn it round, hopefully.
Yeah, I think his two marquee signings are Bakayoko and Ross Barkley. He's gone for a lot of youth, he's a very good scout, isn't he? He knows what he's doing with the risers and things. But I am surprised by the league position. Also, I'm surprised by Brighton, and I spoke to their manager Dave Faint this week, and Dave has said he's disappointed by the league position, but he's really happy with his recruitment. And even if Brighton go down, he thinks that Brighton are nicely set up for the long-term game.
That's true.
I mean, is that good enough to just? I mean, isn't that kind of like a miniature version of what Kev's doing at Man United? Kind of doesn't matter about results because the long-term sorted.
See, the thing with Kev is as well, because he's not building a bad team. It's not like Craig's issue. You know what I mean? Like, if someone took over Kev's team, they wouldn't be in a bad position. It's not like he's destroying Man United. He's just not winning anything.
That's right. No, and that's why I said earlier, if you were given the choice of the two of which you would take, I'm pretty sure everyone right now would take Manchester United. Whereas at the start of the game, well, you'd argue City had the better squad.
Yeah, so it's not the point that Kev is destroying Manchester United or...
Not destroying them, but they're not competing, they're not winning games, and he's now in his second season, and is that good enough? And is that fair to the rest of the TFF? They're the issues.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Next one is Bristol Rovers. I had a lovely chat with him and his fellow friend Nuno. This was a private Facebook chat. I actually spoke to, I think it's João Alves, asking him what his intentions are if he's going to stay in the game well, because having looked at the league table, zero wins in, was it 27, 28 games?
28 games. What the fuck? So, I'm looking at it now.
I'm not here to make myself look good, so I'm sure people can judge now, but I personally messaged him out of the blue. I've spoken to him before. I'm not just some weirdo who's messaged him out of the blue. We have spoken to him on Facebook. You could argue, Rob, what's it got to do with you? You're not even in TFF, mind your own business, and that's fine. But the truth is, I want to get back in TFF. There's a couple of other people that want to get in TFF, and I still feel there's a lot of managers just sleeping, doing nothing. That's my point. You can argue I'm right or wrong, and you can argue you shouldn't have left in the first place, and I'll take all that on board. But right now, this is the truth. Bristol Rovers, I'm looking at that thinking you're a joke. You're a joke. You haven't won a game all season. And his reply, and it was in Portuguese, and I've removed all the swearing because I was called and I was abused. And this was a three-way conversation with Nuno. TFF is shit. All the managers are shit. He then him and Nuno quoted a load of players they've signed that TFF never got. So that kind of justifies that they're wonderful managers because they signed these players that we didn't hear of. The Spanish lad, Nunez or whatever his name is. But the point of the matter is Luton finished bottom of the league. And Bristol Rovers haven't won a game in all season. How can they turn around and say TFF is shit, that the managers are shit? And if that is the case, why stay? Why stay? So I just wish people like that would just do one.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add on that?
I've just looked at it now, Ben. Do you want to say about that? I've just looked at it now. I think it's a disgrace.
I was going to say, what is it, 29 points? No, hang on, 21, 22, 23 points from safety.
He's down, but this is the thing. There's people in TFF, they're not even trying. I don't even think you could try to be that bad. That's how bad he is. Even if we tried to be that bad, we wouldn't achieve. We would still win a game by default. Even if you set your team up to lose every week, you would still have more points than this idiot. And he thinks he's better than us.
I was going to say, as for staying in TFF, I mean, TFF's one of them leagues where, like, you know, you might badmouth it publicly, but privately you're thinking, yeah, I want to be in it no matter how shit I'm doing. And it's probably one of them. I mean, I'm in some game worlds where I think, do you know what? I'm doing shit in this game world, but you know, it's the stigma of being in it, I guess, and that's probably why he hasn't pissed off yet. And if he doesn't piss off, and if he does, he does. I mean, I don't want to give him airtime, basically.
No, so it's not just him as well. Then there's a lot of managers, and I messaged them, and I didn't get a single reply. Cardiff City was one, Bradford City was another. There was a few others as well, off the top of my head. Middlesbrough, just non-entities. Sorry, one. But what have they ever done or produced in TFF?
These are good teams as well.
They're good teams, but they're slipping into sort of outer space. They're just fading away. Yeah, and it's just frustrating because TFF is meant to be a fantastic game. Well, there's people that are passionate about it, and you've got some real dreary drips doing nothing. Okay, basically onto any other business. Anything you guys want to add? I want to raise a point of, is TFF really a great game world with all these sort of sleeper inactive managers in it? But you three can go first if you like.
I'll let someone have the floor.
Shall I go first then?
Go on, Ali.
Yeah, I mean, who was it again? Bristol
Rovers.
Bristol Rovers, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just like another Nuno, isn't he? I mean,
that was alleged.
He's not. I mean, like, he's another Nuno in terms of like how he signs the players. I don't know if he's the same person or not, but like, in terms of destroying the club, he's not exactly destroying them. I mean, just like Nuno, he signed good talent and stuff. Just like he's doing at Bristol Rovers here. So like the new manager could come in and sell them on and make use of that cash. But yeah, in terms of saying TFF is shit or whatever, I mean, if it's really shit, why didn't he quit?
I don't know. Yeah,
like that. So
yeah.
And if you look at another manager that signs a lot of youth, Pavel, for example, in Division 2, he's staying out of relegation, and he should be by no means be on 27 points. By no means, because his team is by far the weakest team in that division, and he's on 27 points from 28 games. And by look at Derby, you look at what's it called, Norwich. They're not doing that well, and they have much higher rated teams. So I think Pavel is another one that's like a Bristol Rover type of manager, but he's trying and he's managing to actually be out of the relegation zone. So
yeah, Pavel was the original Mansfield boss and had them on the fringes of the playoffs with a very young team.
Exactly. So.
But when you go to Division 2 and you try and replicate that style of buying very young players, it's very difficult.
Exactly, but I mean, he's got same policy like you have like with Nuno and stuff like that. But I mean, he's an example of a manager that's doing well. I mean, relatively well.
Yeah.
In that division. So
yeah.
That as well.
Ben, Paul, anything you want to add?
It's going back to earlier though about Fordy and Dom, and you know, you don't want to get relegated because it's going to be hard to get out of that league. So, you know, that's why I wouldn't like to be in that league. I'll be honest, I wouldn't like to be in that league.
Definitely.
So it's a tough league, that one.
Just like real life, the Championship's a dogfight.
It's hard. It's a hard league. As for the sleeper accounts, though, obviously I agree with you that obviously it's not the best thing for TFF. But then I keep going back to it. You know, you've got 80 people, and I don't think there's such a game world on Soccer Manager where you've got every single person commenting week in, week out. I mean, you don't even have to do it week in, week out. These people we're talking about literally do not say anything any of the time. So I agree with you there.
These are extremes. I pointed
Yeah,
out.
yeah, 100%. It's an extreme.
Yeah.
The Middlesbrough one's weird though because he got relegated from Division One last season. I remember he got active again. He even won a few games at the end of Division One. He got a few points on the board.
Yeah.
And then this season you've heard nothing from him again.
Yeah, because obviously he's real life, whatever. He can't be asked, whatever. I don't know. But
I'll just go back to the point where you're never going to get 80 people completely active. But I do agree that some of these sleep accounts need to.
That's what I was gonna make the last point. Then you say you never, Ben. You never.
Yeah.
I'm saying, I have a dream. I have a vision. Now, I don't want a brand new TFF because that, as it was said earlier in the week, dilutes the original TFF, and there's a lot of people very happy in TFF. But TFF was built on shaky foundations in one night, and okay, a lot of fakes and cheats have been removed since, but there's an awful lot of naff managers that aren't really, they don't give a shit about TFF. It's just another game world to them. Imagine if we could get 80 or 100 similar like-minded managers that love the interaction, not even necessarily want to come on the panel show, but just make themselves known in the news feed, pick their team and challenge. Imagine if, and from day one, imagine we had a game world from day one where everyone's running their team well. TFF was not running well from day one. It was a huge mess in season one. And that's all. Imagine that. And between us all, between TFF Top 100, NWO, back to the 80s, there must be in there now, we must be getting close to 80 good managers.
You got a fair point. Maybe you're more optimistic than me. I can't ever see it happening. To be fair, I agree. You could probably get close, but I think the crucial thing about those game modes you've mentioned, there's a lot of people from TFF in each of those game worlds. So you're kind of getting, I don't know, you might have 20 people in TFF that are in there's definitely more than half of TFF in NWO probably. So I think you might struggle, but
straight away, Ben, nearly 30 people, nearly 30 people this season have been on Skype.
Yeah,
that's just Skype.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
That's in season 2. That doesn't include all the people that I've interviewed 1-to-1 on NWO and TFF in season 1. There's people that I've interviewed and been on Skype that came on. I reckon the people that I've spoke to now on Skype is getting near to 40 overall.
That's really good. I'll take that. I'll tell you for that.
No, it's not. It's not about me. What I'm saying is that shows you that's a number of people willing to just come on Skype. Then there's a lot of managers, the likes of Andrew Lane, Mark. I've never spoke to them on Skype. But you'd have them in a game world.
Yeah. I'll give you that there, to be fair.
Jay Jones is a good manager. I'd have him in a game world. So the number starts creeping up and up. I think we have a good core community. And I think you guys in TFF maybe should have a discussion, but I think there's room for a summer game world, because there's been a lot lately, where everything is run brilliantly from day one. The likes of Nick Justice Noisy could run this. Maybe we could discuss how clubs are allocated instead of clubs being dished out like confetti. Can I have Man United? Yeah, go on then. No. Actually sit down and think who's getting what club. That's what I'm saying. Is there not room for a discussion about a really top quality game world?
There's room for that discussion, but I don't think there's room for a second TFF. I think TFF should stay TFF, and any new game will be created in its own right. We could, but I were against another TFF. I said something along the lines of Rambo 2 was shit. So
yeah.
So but a game world. If you can get a game world with 60 managers active, that'd be pretty good.
I honestly think we could, and you would just, because if you get the right people running the game world from day one, doing all the recruitment, and in the last 12, 18 months, we've sort of all come together, and our network is getting bigger and bigger.
Cool.
I think there's a lot of potential there, but TFF's still great, and I don't want to take anything away from it, but it just frustrates me when some of these managers that I don't think they appreciate what they're in and they don't deserve to be in. But there you go.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Well, lads, I'm out of questions or anything. Is there any last minute? Oh, I'll tell you what, Ben. There was one thing you wanted. I heard a whisper on the grapevine that you and Hammer have had words. Is there anything you want to add to that?
No. if he was here, then yeah, no problem. I mean, it's just a Facebook chat. Like literally, so much shit went into that Facebook chat that was not fucking related to that Facebook chat. I mean, like, fair enough. He likes his teams, but fuck me, gold, fucking 105 or whatever random number you want in the chat. And do you know what it is? I'm still pissed off he got Nottingham Forest. I'm still pissed off he got Nottingham Forest. There is one thing I want to raise though that I have seen on the agenda, and that was the manager votes.
Oh, Ali, you wanted to raise that as well?
Yeah.
I mean, I only mentioned it because it was on the agenda, but yeah, there you go.
I just wanted to say that when we give these candidates or whatever, we base it on the amount of the results or the amount of points they gained and stuff like that, or results, rather than looking at their team or looking at their circumstances. So if you look at it, for example, same with Wimbledon. Is Wimbledon top of the Division 3? So does that mean they can get a good club in Division 1, like a Southampton or like a Crystal Palace? Do they deserve it more than, let's say, someone like Dari or something, or someone like Keith? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, why do we always base manager of the month, or you know what I mean, like how a new job comes up? We base it just on the results they get and not the squad worth and how much they've managed to improve their squad and so on. Because you can just buy all these and do well and be top of the division. I could have, instead of buying someone like Malcolm or something like that, I could have just bought some 92s like Ribery or something like that and just be top of the table easily right now. But I didn't do that, so it's just one of them points, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to raise. People don't look into that when they... Well, a lot of people don't even bother voting, and then people do vote. I suppose they can't be bothered, so they look at the last 6 games, don't they?
It sort of defeats the purpose of it, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it does, yeah. Which has been argued by quite a few people that the whole thing's flawed and pointless and a waste of time.
Yeah.
I will give... go on, sorry, Adam.
Go on, mate.
I was going to say, I will give Mark his credit at Newcastle, obviously, because... is that his thing? I don't know if that's his thing, but he's the only guy that I see posting manager of the month stuff. So, I will give him his credit. I don't know if that's his own thing and he's running it, then fair play.
No, what happened was, Ben, it was Wimbledon's was doing it last year. But Wimbledon are on a self-imposed silence. Very strange, the whole business there. I really don't know what happened there with Wimbledon, Hull, Brentford. I don't know for sure one way or the other, but 2 people left, one has stayed, 2 accounts have left, and 1 account has stayed. And I have no idea, but if I was the Wimbledon guy, perhaps he feels hard done by him. Perhaps he wants to win it, all the leagues. Perhaps he's on some personal vendetta against TFF. He wants to show everyone. Me personally, I hope he fails. I don't like the way he builds teams, and if he was linked to Hull and Brentford, then he shouldn't have been in TFF in the first place. So when I heard Ali had beaten him in the week, I was pleased.
Now going back to the votes, then, like either way, it sounds like Mark's picked it up. So I'll give him his credit because he's it's quite a well-run thing, to be fair. And, not a lot of people vote, but I'll give him his credit. But I'll probably agree with Ali though, to be fair. And I think maybe, again, it's probably a time thing. Like, people haven't got the time. They'll have a look at the last 6 results and go, this one can have it, this one can have it, this one can have it. But, it is what it is, isn't it? But probably could be done better.
I agree the voting's flawed, but one thing the panel show can do is you get good people on, you can analyse different leagues, and we can all see for ourselves who's doing well, who's a good manager. The 4 of us haven't looked at, he's top, he's the best. There's all different circumstances. And, I go back to it. Somebody like Andrew Lane and the job he's doing at Birmingham City needs a lot more credit. People should have a look at what he's been doing in his time in TFF. There's loads more like him as well.
Yeah. I mean, I've said it earlier again. Like, I'm not, it's not a case of these two people are on the panel with me, so I'll be nice to him. Because if Hammer was on, I wouldn't be so nice to him. But we tried him earlier, but his compadres in the background weren't going to work out. But like I was saying, like Paul's a one club manager at Southampton. I had a quick look at Southampton today, knowing that he was on. Like, I've seen their squad. I've seen the squad value compared to what Adam started out on. They're doing quite well in Division 1, so, he probably should have a few more Manager of the Month nominations than he had. Ali at Reading, I know Ali tried to play it cool with the whole let's avoid relegation, but, let's not forget you had Sheffield United unbeaten for 20-odd games. Fair enough, they're a powerhouse in Division 4. You had them unbeaten in 20-odd games. You've got Reading flying high in Division 3. Maybe you should have some more Manager of the Month ratings. But, I just thought I'd touch on the seasons these two guys are having as well, because these two guys are having good seasons. I think Southampton are going to be a force in Division 1 for quite a while. They're going to be a mainstay in Division 1.
Reading and Southampton are both healthy. You're both very healthy.
Yeah.
You could actually see a club like Southampton being above Manchester City by next season or something. So.
Well, they are now.
Yeah.
No, I mean, as in, like, in terms of squad worth and stuff like that. Not just...
Yeah, maybe another couple, because City got De Bruyne. Yeah, Paul, you got a philosophy, haven't you?
Yeah, just compete, but get people in that hopefully can stick around in the same team for a few years. You're 23, 24. It works. It works for me. It takes time sometimes.
Yeah,
but it works.
You're not going for instant results. You're thinking about ratings, value, increasing squad value.
Yeah, I want my club. Like I get a week. I get about 1.1 million that I get a week in cash. So obviously I'm building up little by little. A million or 800k a week, and I want the club to be able to make money to pay the wages, kind of thing. I don't want to run it down so that I'm waiting on my prize money to pay off this or pay off that. So, I ain't gone for your 94s, 95s, but also, I ain't gone for your 84s, 85, 19-year-olds. I've just put it in middle where it's just healthy, and hopefully I'll just break into that top 4 in the next couple of seasons.
Yeah, do you want to stay at Southampton, or would you like a crack at a really big club?
I said when I got Southampton, it was a 4-year project, 4-season project. So I'm staying. I'm not leaving, no matter what.
The biggest mistake I've ever made was I've made 2: leaving Colchester and leaving Grasshoppers in another game. It's just not the same inheriting another squad.
I'm not spending 16 months of my life building a team.
I know, yeah. And I can see, perhaps you can see why Kev is so determined to hang on to Manchester United, because it's his project. It would kill him to let it go. Yeah.
What more's expected of him than's expected of me, so...
That's right. Manchester United, I know, I don't want to talk about this too much, but Manchester United is a big, big club, and they make a lot of money in revenue, and he has every opportunity to do well there. Oh,
yeah. But no, not for me, but I do think it should be for someone else, but we've already discussed that, so I'll leave it there.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. I'm sure Kev can have write a reply at some point. Hopefully we've not been too harsh on anybody tonight, but it is what it is. Yeah.
It's not personal. Kev's a top guy. He adds value to the game world.
100%.
It's just, if you're not open to scrutiny, then you shouldn't be managing a big club in TFF.
Put it this way: if I don't sit first in a couple of weeks' time, I open my arms to anyone but Hammer to come and have a go, because I have made a bit of a mess of it. So you got to be open to some scrutiny, like Paul says.
Yeah, it's like real life. You take one of the big clubs, you've got that extra pressure, haven't you? That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just lastly, the Division 2 title race caught my eye. It was my favourite division last year, and it's looking good. In my head, I can't imagine Gillingham and Wigan finishing 1 and 2. I don't see Gillingham and Wigan 1 and 2.
Why not?
I don't know good reason other than they're both two small clubs and there are much bigger clubs behind them.
I think Gillingham might.
They will finish 1 and 2. I think. I think they will, and I think it'll be a fantastic achievement.
I'd be happy for them too. I love underdogs doing well, but there's some big boys behind them.
I can't believe that Division 2. I mean, I covered it quite a lot last year with Hammer and Hammer TV and stuff. You know, Division 2 was interesting last year, but this year, I mean, look at those promoted teams from last year. Wednesday, Gillingham, Wigan, top 4. That's just brilliant, isn't it? Division 2 is really literally the dog's bollocks.
You mentioned Sheffield Wednesday. Johnny laid great foundations there. How's Nick Dunkley doing since he's replaced him?
Yeah, it's kept them where they are. Basically, they haven't really dropped off the boil.
Kept them ticking.
I don't think there's been much change, to be fair.
Yeah, Nick was meant to be on tonight, but he couldn't do it. But we'll hopefully get Nick on soon. He's a top lad. Yeah, I'd be quite happy if Wigan, Gillingham, and Sheffield Wednesday went up. To be honest, that would be brilliant.
That'd be some achievement.
But
it would. It'd be
start of the season.
I think Gillingham could stay up as well.
Sorry, Paul. Sorry.
I think Gillingham will come up, and I think that he'll stay up as well.
Oh. Mystic Meg's got his crystal ball out.
just think the quality of the manager. You know, he gets it right. He's got the tactics right. He's not got the best players. I just think he could do it.
But did he not post something in the newsfeed? And if you read between the lines, it sounds like he's ready for a big job.
Yeah, he deserves a big job.
Where could you see Mark Stewart going?
That's the question. He's turned down Liverpool as far as I'm concerned, as far as I'm aware. He's turned down Spurs, so he's turned down some big teams already. I don't know where his head's at, but personally, I can't see Kev walking anytime soon. Can't see Chelsea walking anytime soon. I don't plan on walking anytime soon. Options might be limited.
Yeah, I mean,
I think City
last year. Sorry, Paul. Chelsea got so much stick with Kev last year. Chelsea was on the level with Man United. Glenn's done a great job this year.
Yeah, he's turned it around. Yeah, and if he ends up winning, let's be honest, Glenn could win the cup and the league at my expense. Unfortunately, if he wins the double, he's safe as houses. He ain't got to go anywhere.
I think Glenn comes across as a good guy in the newsfeed. He's not somebody who hides if he loses.
Nah.
He's not particularly arrogant if he wins. I think I'd love to know who he is and speak to him on here, but I've never done that. But he seems like a good guy.
He's all right. I mean, I think for Mark, going back to Mark though at Gillingham, I think his options might become limited. He might have to jump ship soon if a Division 1 team comes up. He might not want to do it. It's up to him. That's the risk you take.
Yeah, well, one thing for sure, TFF does not want to lose managers like Mark Stewart.
Nah, definitely not.
Agreed.
So, I don't know. If I was running TFF, which I'm not, which I've been accused of before, but if I was running TFF, that would be something on my mind. Okay, you can't we haven't made rules from day one, so we can't put them in now. But could we have a discussion and implement new things for maybe season 3, season 4, where to encourage a flow of movement? So if managers don't quite hit where they should be, they go, okay, I'll step down and I'll go to this division. Is that not such a bad idea?
Not a bad idea, but you need people to be on board with it, don't you?
Anyway, I personally, I enjoy being in the rock bottom divisions, but maybe that's me hiding away under the spotlight. But I think it's a lot more fun, the smaller clubs and no money and finding little nuggets and trying to build something up from nothing. When you take over a big monster, they're already a big monster, do you know? So it's what different people like. Different people want the challenge of keeping that team where they are, but I think there's a lot of satisfaction of building something, creating something from nothing. So if somebody was to lose their job at a big club, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
But we shall see. Anyway, thanks very much, gentlemen, for coming on. And
welcome.
The next time we do a panel show, I will be conducting it from Russia. So God knows what the signal will be like and if that's going to work. But I'll be posting a few pictures in the Facebook chat group, and Also, this is to anyone who watches these videos. Subscribe, because we've got 22 at the moment, and I know more than 22 watch them. And if you want to come on, brilliant. And there's a Facebook group. There's a couple of Facebook groups if you want to join, brilliant. Or if you want to leave any comments on the YouTube, do that as well. Any suggestions, any ideas, anything to improve it. And this is for you guys. It's our community, our show. So thanks very much, guys.
All right, Rob.
Cheers.
See you later.